The final round of this year's Goodreads Choice Awards opened up today. And depending on what time zone you're in, is today is negotiable. I checked last night in our central time zone at like 11 to make sure I was right on my memory of it being the 25th. And Diary was going to let me vote. I didn't look at it though. So today we are going to look over all of the ones that made it through into the final round of every category. We will not be overexcited and only talk about a few of them this time. We'll look at all of them for everyone because I think there is only five, right? If my memory serves, it gets narrowed down to five choices. I don't remember that. Let's go ahead and dive into this year's. We should start at the beginning category of the fiction. I am totally wrong on the count. 10. It's narrowed down to 10 choices. Which I just scrolled and you saw all of it, so sorry. Our fiction final round nominees are The Names by Flor Snap, My Friends by Frederick Bachman, Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey, We All Live Here by Jojo Moyes. Mize? Heard it said before, can't remember. The Three Lives of Kate K by Kate Fagan, The Academy by Ellen Hildebrand, The Emperor of Gladness by Ocean Vuong, The Summer Storms by Sarah McLean, The River is Waiting by Wally Lamb, The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. If this is your first time here, you'll notice that names are hard. Even seemingly normal English names are not going to come out right. Bachman made it through. Do believe he's probably going to be. He's either going to take first or second. I don't know if they ever show seconds, actually. I think Bachman is probably the winner here. Jojo Moyes is a very popular author as well. Lots of name recognition, as well as Aaron Hildebrand. So these are all high probabilities of which one this one could be. In historical fiction, The Amalfi Curse by Sarah Pinner, Isola by Allegra Goodman, Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkerson, Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Strangers in Time by David Baldacci, The Book Club for Troublesome Women by Marie Bostwick, Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall, The Secret Book Society by Madeline Martin, The First Witch of Boston by Andrea Cataland, The Stolen Queen by Fiona Davis. Also, I have no idea really for historical fiction. I know that the big names here would be the David Baldacci and the Taylor Jenkins Reid. Probably more Taylor Jenkins Reid in recent years. Also, though, I do remember when the Amalfi Curse came out that it did have some good ratings and reviews behind it that people enjoyed the story that it was telling. And its concept did sound very interesting. I remember reading the description for that one. Mysteries and thrillers. The one that I can't believe I don't think I talked about last time, or did I talk about it? I don't remember. The Perfect Divorce by Geneva Rose made it through. This is a sequel book. The first one was The Perfect Marriage, which you would think that one, no description of it as well, could have been just a standalone, but we do have a follow-up, which is intriguing on the premise because it does still sound worth it. Then we have the Holly Jackson adult debut, Not Quite Dead Yet, which seems to have gotten either or reviews. You either love it or you thought it was a miss. The First of the Freedom McFadden, The Tenant, The Impossible Fortune by Richard Osman, which is a Thursday Murder Club mystery, was book 5. I don't know if you can hear the thorns scratching against my window. I need to cut that back again. We Are All Guilty Here by Karen Slaughter, Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell, Beautiful Ugly by Alice Finney, The Secret of Secrets by Dan Brown, Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man by Jesse Q. Sutanto, which is another sequel novel that I really want to get to because I liked the first one. I loved Vera. King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. It is a standalone, I think. I think the Dan Brown, it does make sense that it made it through. Name recognition, series recognition, as it is book 5 in the Robert Langdon series. But as it has also just come out, I'm wondering how many people might actually still vote for it into, be the book of the year. Only one of the three Frida McFadden's made it through, and it was The Tenant. Interesting. Okay. Some big names in this one. I cannot say who I think might end up getting it. I really can't. They're pretty much all really big thriller mystery writers that made it through. Romance. Romance next. I should probably say what it is before I click on it. Shouldn't I? Maybe. Let's see. Rewind It Back by Liz Tomafold. This is number 5 in the Windy City series. I thought that said Halloween, but I think it says Haley Wynn. First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. Scythe and Sparrow by Brianne Weaver. This is the conclusion of the Ruinous Love trilogy. Yes, Ruinous Love trilogy. The Favorites by Leanne Fargo. That color decision of the words blends in with the background, especially when you have like skin there and stuff. Wild Side by Elsie Silver. This is book 3 in her Rose Hill series. King of Envy by Anna Wong, book 5 in the Kings of Sin. Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. And Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. Okay. All big contenders again, I feel like. I think the only one that I haven't really seen many books from before probably would be Carly Fortune and Lane Fargo. But I don't really, read the romance, so who could say? Romantasy now. Before we click to it, Romantasy. Of course, The Moth in the Night by Rachel Gilling made it through. Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross, set in her divine rival's world, but is actually an adult romantasy this time versus the new adult slash YA that they did before. Enchantra by Kylie Smith made it through. That one is faintly interesting. That's not the word I want to use. Shocking, impressive. There's a word. It's gone now. Because Phantasma has those mixed reviews as well. So, Accomplice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. This is the third one, right? This is the third one. Yes, the third one in the series. Emily Wild's Compendium of Lost Tales by Heather Fawcett. The third and conclusion of the Emily Wild series made it through to the final round. Impressive considering what it's up against. A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana also made it through. I was really unsure about the cozy holding up against everything else. Alchemized by Sinlin Liu. Yep, expected that one. Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. Expected that one. Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. I won't really say I expected this one, but I've heard pretty much only good things about this book. There have been a few naysayers, but more so I've heard people praising this book. So I did kind of expect it. And Mate by Allie Hazelwood, the sequel to Bride, but following a different characters. And this one, yeah, I kind of expected it too, because I have only heard good things about Mate. Only heard good things about it. Which does make me want to pick it up more because while Bride wasn't like awesome, it was fun. And those are always a good thing. Always want fun books. Fantasy, I forgot to say it before I clicked again. Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. That made it through. That's cool. This is the start of a trilogy, I want to say. And I've been hearing good things about that one too. Water Moon by Samantha Soto Yamboa. Okay. That one's okay. Not urban fantasy, but like almost. Because it starts in our world, I do believe. The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. That makes sense. Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. That makes sense. The River Has Roots by Amal El Mothar? Okay, interesting, interesting. Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. Strength of the View by James Islington. Of course, they made it through somehow, even though barely anyone had read it yet. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. Okay. This Sirens by Amelia Hart. Okay. Okay, it does have the touch of fantastical, but also it is, I thought by the summer it read more historical fiction sounding. But alas, Brandon Sanderson's Wind and Truth. And okay, when we got to this bottom line, that's when I noticed what was missing. The Travis Baldry book for this year, um, da, 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 da. The name is gone. It starts with a B again. Brigands and Bread Knives. That also came the same day as The Strength of the Few, and I was surprised both of them were there. It didn't make it through. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so out of these, the strongest contenders, the strongest contenders? The Devils, maybe. That seems maybe divisive as well. Catabasis, very divisive, so there is not a strong contender here, I feel like. Some years you would say Sanderson just based off name alone, but Wind and Truth, man, the division that book caused of diehard fans being like, "Ooh, I can't say for fantasy. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know." Okay, okay, science fiction. Here we go. The Dream Hotel by Layla Lalami. I am so sorry. The Compound by Aisling Raleigh. The Poppy Fields by Nikki Ellerick. Death of the Author by Nadia Okafor. Of Monsters and Mainframes by Barbara Truelove. I Think We've Been Here Before by Susie Krause. The Book of Lost Hours by Haley Gelfuso. Atomic Noodle by Annalie Newitz. Shroud by Adrian Tchaikovsky. When the Moon Hits Your Eye by John Scalzi. Okay. I get it. You couldn't probably have a lot of people vote on the other John Scalzi book because it was the one in the series and it was like seventh book in the Old Man's War series. But this one was not his best work. It barely even felt like a sci-fi story to me. But okay, I won't go on about my dislike of that book. Let's see. I feel Death of the Author has a huge chance. I've heard really good things about Atomic Noodle, and it's not full length. It's like a novella, I think. Monsters in Mainframes, Dracula in Space. Heard decent things about it. Shroud by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Still, I think the name there could carry things along. Horror. Let's see who made it through for horror. We have Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones, big contender there. Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zing by Callie Lee Baker. Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. Never Flinch by Stephen King. The Possession of Alba Diaz by Isabel Cañas. We Love You Bunny by Mona Awad. Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. The Bewitching by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. The Lamb by Lucy Rose. Lucy Rose. Some of these are big, but I think it's going to come down to Stephen Graham Jones, Grady Hendrix, or Stephen King. I feel like it's going to be one of them. For debut novels, The Names by Florence Knapp. When the Tides Held the Moon by Vanessa Vita Kelly. Alchemized by Sinlin Yu. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to move on. The Bright Years by Sarah Demov. The Lilac People by Milo Todd. A Resistance of Witches by Morgan Ryan. The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. The Irish Goodbye by Heather Amy O'Neill. Yes. Homeseeking by Carissa Chin. Junie by Aaron Crosby Eckstein? Hmm. I can't say with these for sure. I mean, it could be the same one that's going to ruin the romantasy, or it could not be because maybe they don't even ruin the romantasy. I think I know a lot of people were expecting When the Tides Held the Moon, like they were looking forward to it, but I don't really remember hearing much about it after it came out. So that one's hard to say. On to the audiobook category. Okay. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the full cast edition. Onyx Storm. I think it's just the regular one. I don't think that they have done the dramatized. That's what the word I was looking for. The dramatized edition yet. So that's just the regular, I think. Tourist Season by Brienne Weaver. The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. My Friends by Frederick Bachman again. Alchemized by Sinlin Yu. Pride and Prejudice. This is another one. Wait, it is a full cast edition though. So, Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. And Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Hmm. I would say probably one of the full cast edition ones. 'Cause people really like full cast. I like full cast too, but possibly also the Emily Henry because people did really say that they liked the audiobook version of that as well. But audiobook could be really up in the air because you don't know if they're voting based off narrator or cast or the book itself, which for the audiobook, I would totally vote for the narrator because the narrator can make or break the enjoyment of the book. It really can. Oh. Young adult sci-fi and fantasy, as I didn't say before I clicked. Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. Oathbound by Tracy Dion. That's the third book. Yes, her third book in the Legendborn cycle. Sunrise on the Reaping by Susan Collins. Mhm. The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. Yes, first book in that series. Heavenly Tyrant by Jiren J. Zhao. Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews. They should have picked a different font choice. Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli, the conclusion of that duology. Fearless by Lauren Roberts. Is that the conclusion as well, or just the third book? Yes, the conclusion of the Powerless trilogy. Wings of Starlight by Allison Saft. Okay, it might not be, but I think Tinkerbell when I look at that. I mean, I know she's got brown hair there, but still think Tinkerbell. Watch Me by Tahira Mafi. This is in her Shatter Me world, but it is the start of a new series. They're calling the New Republic. So obviously it takes place after, I think, 10 years. Yes, 10 years after the fall. We're not going to say that. That's a spoiler. So many big names in this one as well. I'm going to go with it's one of these two. These two are also, possibly big names, but, everybody loved this one. And it is what it is. On to the young adult fiction, where we know even less things, kind of. I mean, I've heard of several of these. I mentioned several of these before. Glorious Rivals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes is the second in the Grandest Game series set in her same world as the first trilogy, whose name I have forgotten. I Am Not Jessica Chin by Anne Ling. Falling Like Leaves by Misty Wilson. Oh, I see the name there at the top of the awning. Okay. Fake Skating by Lynn Painter. The Survivor Wants to Die at the End by Adam Silveira. And it's the second one in They Both Die at the End series. The Thrashers by Julie Soto. Nobody in Particular by Sophie Gonzalez. We Fell Apart by E. Lockhart. It says she returns to the world of the We Were Liars. So it is still part of that. You Found Oliver by Dustin Thau. This is the second one or the sequel to You've Reached Sam. It says it's a companion. Okay. And Dragons and Dating by Christy Boyce. This is the second in the Dungeons and Drama series. It does sound very funny. I will give it that. It does sound very funny. And I have no idea. I have no idea. On to nonfiction then. The New Age of Sexism by Laura Bates. Idaho 4 by James Patterson and Vicky Ward. Interesting. Sad. The Serviceberry by Robin Wall Kimmer. The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This by Omar El Akkad. No More Tears by Gardiner Harris. Yep. Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. Girl on Girl by Sophie Gilbert. I can read. Murderland by Carolyn Fraser. Abundance by Ezra Klein and Derek Thompson. Is it sad to say that it might be John Green or Mel Robbins just because they're possibly the biggest names on here? It's a cat at the door. Memoirs. Vagabond by Tim Curry. Semi Well Adjusted by Allison Stoner. Big Dumb Eyes by Nate Bargatze. Finding My Way by Mala. Oh man, I know that I've heard her name. The camera timed out somewhere in this author's name, and I didn't realize till I reached the end and thought, okay, it might be overheating now. I should stop. It had already stopped. From Finding My Way, we have Nobody's Girl by Virginia Roberts Goofery. Cher, the Memoir, Part 1 by Cher. Semi Well Adjusted by Allison Stoner. Nope, that was already up there. Crap, this is the problem with going back. Let's see. Careless People by Sarah Wynne Williams. Cautionary Tale of Power, Greed, and Lost Idealism. The House My Mother Made by Sherry Frankie. My Next Breath by Jeremy Renner. 107 Days by Kamala Harris. It's interesting how quickly these two came out. That both of those things happened, this year, early this year, but still. He said of these, the ones that I would probably be most interested in eventually trying would be the Tim Curry one, because he just seems like he's probably had a really interesting life and just an interesting person. And Semi Well Adjusted by Allison Stoner. She's already spoken some about her life as a childhood actress. And it sounds, yeah. History and Biography is next. Baldwin, A Love Story by Nicholas Boggs. Original Sins by Eve L. Ewing. The Cure for Women by Lydia Reeder. Mark Twain by Ron Chernow. Jane Austen's Bookshelf by Rebecca Romney. The JFK Conspiracy by Brad Metzger and Josh Minch. Sisters in Science by Olivia Campbell. Propaganda Girls by Lisa Ragrock. How to Kill a Witch by Claire Mitchell. And Marriage is Sea by Sophie Elmhurst. I have no idea or vote to cast for the history and biography. Nothing. No clue there. Okay, so for the Goodreads Choice Awards 2025, did the people you thought make it through come through? Did the ones you voted for make it through? Oh, I am so dim. Okay, we spoke about how the Travis Baldry one didn't make it through. A Drop of Corruption didn't make it through. That was the one I voted for. Because it was the one I read and thought deserved it out of the ones. It didn't make it. Oh my gosh, that's sad. sad. That is sad. I like the world of that book series, and I like the character development that we are getting. So, okay. Let's see. I voted in this one, and I voted Shroud, I think, in the first sci-fi. Will we do it again? I don't know. I have the thought, but see, I'm in the middle of this big chunky book right now, and also time because of what week it is. That I could, for the non-series, I could read like the first few chapters, maybe, of some of these books and see if that's what I'm going to give my vote to. Will we do that? I don't know. Stay tuned to find out because busy week as it is, and I don't know. But that was my thought at the beginning of November. And I kind of want to do that. And I don't know. I have maybe time to do it before the announcement on December 5th. Maybe. We'll see. I hope you're having an excellent day. I would love to know your thoughts on which ones made it through and if you feel there were any snubs. And just, I hope you're finding something great to read today. Having maybe a chill week if you can, curled up with a good book. For those of you having to run around to family things, I understand, me too. But I hope you're finding time to decompress with your book. I'll see you guys in the next one.